Hello, dear friends. Today, in this session, we are going to study a few things about a short story named Light is Like Water, written by the Spanish writer Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who is a great exponent of magic realistic writing. Gabriel Garcia Marquez is a Nobel laureate who won this prestigious award for his very well known work of fiction named 100 Years of Solitude. I am Prasad N, working in the Department of College Education, Karnataka, as an assistant professor of English at Government First Grade College, Piriyapatna, Mysore district, which is affiliated to the University of Mysore. I would like to declare that no copyright infringement has been intended through this PowerPoint presentation. Let's try to understand the concept idea of magic realism. Magic realism is a genre of literature that depicts the real world as having an undercurrent of magic or fantasy in it. Magical realism is a part of the realistic genre of fiction. If you want to look into the words of Salman Rushdie, one of the greatest writers of magic realism, he says that when people use the term magic realism, usually they only mean magic and they don't hear realism. Whereas the way in which magic realism actually works is for the magic to be rooted in the real. It's both things. It's not just a fairy tale moment, it's the surrealism that arises out of the real. So, magic elements, when imbibed with the ground realities, that creates a beautiful mixture of magical realism. That's what Salman Rushdie has to speak about this genre. So, coming back to the story, dear friends, let's look into the setting of the story. The story takes place in Madrid, the capital city of Spain, which is not like the hometown of the characters that we find in the story, which is Castellina de Indias, a Caribbean town which is very close to the sea or the ocean, hence a coastal city. Madrid is a kind of dry city which does not have any rivers or seas beside it. The story happens in the fifth floor, flat number 47. Um, the name of the apartment is Paseo de la Castellina. And here also we mention the name of the school where the boys or the characters study is Saint Julian the Hospitaller. So, what is the theme of this story? The theme is that the writer compares the two worlds. One is of the adults and the other is of the children, and the overlapping of the two worlds occurs in this story, and the impact is seen uh, on the people of Madrid. So, as the saying goes, magic realism speaks about the impossible, not the improbable. So, here the two entities like water and light are taken and they are interchanged in the imaginary world of the boys on the story and the children, and the um, resultant thing that happens is that the imaginary world overpowers the realistic world. So this is a best example of magic realism written by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So somewhere the suggestion from the outside world comes to the mind of the children here, and the speaker or the narrator in this story has suggested, while explaining the scientific concepts to the boys, that light flows like water, which flows through a tap when opened. Just like that, light also flows when the switch is put on, and it flows to the bulb and it illuminates the entire room. The characters that we find in the story are Toto and Joel, are 9 and 7-year-old children, and their father and their mother, the author or the narrator, their classmates of the fourth year class, 37 in number, and the passers-by who observe the stream of light, and the firefighters who attend to the urgent work of extinguishing the fire. So, at the beginning of the story, we find that the boys want a Christmas gift, a rowing boat, which is not understandable by the parents because they think that it is a useless thing in a city like Madrid, which does not have any natural resources of water. Hence, they object to it, but the father gets them because the boys succeed in attaining good grades in their third standard. But it was lying wastedly in the garage. But with the help of the classmates, the boys are successful in bringing that boat into the utility room. So on a Wednesday night, when the parents had gone out to the cinemas, the boys used this opportunity to take the rowing boat and use it in their living room. They put on all the switches and they broke the bulb and made the light flow out of the outlets and fill the room. And how did the light come out? It came out like a jet of golden light, as cool as water, and it began to pour out of the outlets and it filled the entire room, entire living room, thus creating a medium for the boys to row their boat. The boys navigated the rowing boat on the current of light. Unlike in reality, when we navigate the boat over the water, the stream of water, here the boys they roam over, they row the boat on the current of light. The siblings row through the living room. So they use this opportunity when the light is completely filling the room, they row over the light and they enjoy their little adventure on that Wednesday night. When they're rowing, the furniture and the other objects of the house create tiny islands and they row around all those objects like they're rowing around the islands inside the house. Later on, this goes on for a long time, and after that, when the next exam arrives, they want another gift. The expected gift is the scuba diving equipment by the father, but when the parents object, the boys promise them that they will get the golden grades in the tests for getting this presentation from their parents. And when they succeed in it, the father very enthusiastically he brings the gift to them and presents them. And on the next Wednesday, when the parents had gone out to the cinemas, the boys once again scuba dive under the furniture and they get up from the bottom of the other furniture of the room and they enjoy their tenure as the scuba divers. This time, the flow of light or the glow of light is observed by the passers by. The people outside the apartment saw the cascading light emanating from the flat number 47 on the fifth floor of that apartment, and they're awestruck by this wonderful scene. As well as they were alarmed and they witnessed the torrents of light flowing down from the apartment and the golden flood was filling the streets of that city and they were stunned to see such a rare scene and also they were alarmed. Hence, they called up the firefighters and informed them to come to the rescue of the dwellers of that apartment. The whole apartment was flooded and the objects in the house or the apartment were floating in silence. When the firefighters broke into the apartment and they observed the whole apartment was full of light. The apartment was filled to the ceiling with light and all the objects were floating in it. Especially the fish in the aquarium, which were swimming inside the aquarium for a long time, were enjoying their swimming across the rooms, and the objects were all in the floating situation, floating condition in the room. And the TV, which was still playing, was showing the midnight show which the father used to see, and the toiletries of the mother and the father, which was kept in the bathroom, they were also floating in the stream of light. And the author says that all the objects were in the height of their poetry, or their poetical existence. Thus, we find that along with the boys, all their 37 classmates of the fourth class of their school were celebrating with the boys. And what were they doing? Toto was at the stern of the boat and he was bobbing, and Joel was holding his sextant and he was in search of the northern star, and he was floating up and down the stream of light. And uh, the other boys were adding some funny words to the school anthem, and they were teasing the school and the teachers there, and they were eternalizing some trivial moments of fun which they had in their school days, and they were enjoying the situation to the fullest. Thus, the firefighters and the whole city observed that the children were navigating a magical stream of light. They were having their own wonderful, unique kind of adventure, which was missed by the people of Madrid. The people of Madrid could not afford such kind of the rowing of the boat or the scuba diving like the boys and the classmates had, or the children in general had. And the two worlds, the world of the adults, which is very dry and mundane, is compared with the imaginative world of the boys here in this story, and the magical elements of the imagination is brought out very wonderfully by the author Gabriel Garcia Marquez in this short story. Hence, this is about this short story, dear friends. Thank you for hearing me out. Um, I personally thank the Department of Collegiate Education and my peers who are doing great things on the social media about educational endeavors, and my family and my dear students who have always been the inspiration behind all our little works of education. Thank you very much.